And we are back with mid-tier and upper. Am I going to do an upper mid-tier? Probably I'm going to do both of those as one video. So this is going to be the middle chunk of characters. The tiers get a bit bigger at this point, and we are getting into the definitely like relatively consistent tournament threats, just not the very overall, very much so threatening all the time characters. The lowest character in mid-tier is going to be, I think technically was slightly higher than in the last tier list, and that is Ike. I think Ike is mid-tier instead of low tier. Again, does it really matter what the differential is? No, these characters are fairly close. It's just I'm not going to have a straight list of 80-something characters because that's not very fun. And that's also how Hungrybox does tier lists, and I don't want to steal his flow. So Ike, again, very linear game plan, but the line is pretty good, right? Nair, up air, nair, blah, 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 dash attack, forward tilt. Tora is the best Ike in the world at this point, and she is getting pretty decent results in Japan. Not crazy results. I don't think she has top 8'd a major yet, but she's definitely got some good wins. Just got, I believe, top 24 at Dome Park on the grass. So again, very good, pretty consistent player. Just Ike, again, you run into some really bad matchups. There's a lot of projectile characters that do well versus Ike. There's like Min is like unwinnable because you actually just get edge guarded every single time. There's just like a decent amount of struggle matchups. But again, if you get your hits and if you get like the player versus player reads, Ike can be terrifying. And again, good jumps, good aerials, right? Up next is a little bit of a promotion for this character. Again, still, I believe, if I'm doing my math right, bottom 10. Yeah, still bottom 10, but Piranha Plant has shown a little bit more good stuff. Beating Ashimo is crazy. With Toss, he's crazy. Also, again, I think Lucky's been doing pretty decent, has gotten top like 9 at a bunch of like B tiers and stuff like that. Like literally gets 9th and like always loses to his twin brother in losers. But I think Plant is, again, not good necessarily, but I think Plant has some good stuff. That neutral be like weird, like you close your mouth but it still shoots out from you is like so interesting, and I did not know that was possible. So literally that one technique literally changes how I view this character, because suddenly he has really, really close-up mix-ups. If you aren't like super ready to, hit and like dash grab the Patui, if you are giving him a little bit of space, because, he still has like good kill moves, and if you are too aggressive, you'll get like a smashed out of shield, it can still be scary. And I didn't know that technique was possible. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go watch my video on Toss, which will be in the up in the corner above, because I go over it and I'm like, wait, what the hell? This is broken. And it's really crazy how you get like so much more activity from that. You get better combos and better shield pressure. It is honestly insane. And that by itself puts him, in my opinion, in mid-tier as opposed to low tier, because he got tech. This is kind of the tier of blue hair sword protagonists, and first off, oh, you thought it was gonna be Marth because I hate Marth? No, it's Chrom. Chrom sucks. His character is fast, but he doesn't do enough, right? He has amazing moves. He has like some of the best moves in the game, and then you actually hit him off stage and he dies. He has one of the worst disadvantage states in the game because of that. You can never double jump in disadvantage. You can never double jump in neutral. You can never double jump ever, because if you ever get hit off stage, you're simply dead. So this character, again, I think like literally just like even a slightly better up B. Even if it was just Ike up B, if you threw the sword up, this character would be literally like 20 spots higher. But you don't get it. It doesn't work. But yeah, I think just Chrom, just again, good combos, good damage, good killing, but it doesn't matter how good your combos and killing are, because very basic combos and positions just kill you. It's so scary to get ledge trapped when you're Chrom, because you can't really ledge hop, because if you ledge hop and get hit out of it, you're dead. So you just don't have the options available to you, and you have to play disadvantage like that. It feels like Ganondorf, but obviously he has like a lot of good tools, so he's not that bad. And again, you maybe think I'm putting him this low. When's the last time you watched a Chrom do good? If you said Lancelot, yeah, that's fair. Lancelot's very good, but I don't know his results recently. But either way, again, some characters up here have pretty good results. I mean, Brujo like won a B tier over Zomba, so like the K rule's down here, so it's not necessarily a results-based thing, right? We dip into the Animal Crossing universe here, and I do believe this is the first time this has happened. I'm putting Villager below Isabelle. The reason for this, and Isabelle isn't next, but Villager, again, has decent tools, right? Slingshot, bowling ball, tree, side B is meh, but I just don't think that this character has enough in the close quarter combat, which people force, like, get their way into, and then, so like, you're always playing a zoning game, but the zoning game is weird, and you don't have the close quarter combat tools that you would really like. It's not like he has Smash 4 jab, right? He has a rapid jab, and rapid jabs are cool. It gets your opponent away from you, but it's a lot worse than getting a combo off of it, which is really, really cool. I think his recovery is also more exploitable than Isabelle's. It's still decent, right? Balloons go very far, even though he has no hitbox, so it's not like the best thing ever. But yeah, I just think Villager like is good. Again, all these characters are good. Even all these characters are kind of good, but it's just not enough at this point. Plus, I feel like when I see villager players, I feel like I see them go more Isabelle. I haven't seen ESAM play recently, who's the one from the northeast of the US, and I feel like when I see Kept, I see him playing Isabelle more. I could just be seeing different sets, but I feel like I just see him play Isabelle more. But we don't have Isabelle yet. They're not next to each other for the first time ever. As I said, this is the tier of the blue hair swordsman, so now we have Marth. Still think he's a bad character, right? He's just inconsistent. And, you know, he doesn't get kills the way you want him to, and he doesn't, I just think also, like, Lucina, in my opinion, has also got worse since the last tier list. So in my opinion, like, both of them, like, Marth has stayed relatively the same, but Lucina has also gone down, so it's not even as big of a gap as it once was. Trust me, they're not going to be as far apart, still quite far apart, but again, Marth's lack of consistency and lack of ability to get tippers on the characters and the players especially, like, the game has got so fast in terms of people move around so frequently and so consistently, so it's very, very hard to track people down accurately and get tippers. Are there specific setups for it? Are there specific, you know, little things that maybe you could do? Yeah, but doing that while also there's like a character that just has good moves running at you is terrifying, and it doesn't really work the way you want it to. And again, you can like get edge guards with this character, but also sometimes you don't get a kill at 170, and like sometimes you get a kill at 65, right? That's really cool, but I would rather consistently get a kill at 100 than sometimes kill at 60 and sometimes kill at 180. We're going from swordy to zoner all the time in this tier, and this next one is not an exception. We're going Duck Hunt. I do believe that, again, I feel like people won't like this. I feel like people for some reason think Duck Hunt is really good because they'll be like, oh my god, what about Big Duck Hunt fan that one time? Again, Brujo won a B tier with mostly K rule. Lost as Kazuya more frequently than the K rule. That's crazy. So results don't necessarily mean your character is going to be super good. But at the same time, Duck Hunt has a lot of stuff, right? You have Side B, which is crazy, Cam, which is crazy, you have a bunch of setups, you have a really arduous and annoying process to fight this character. But again, the character doesn't really kill, right? Unless you're getting specifically Side B forward smash at ledge, you kind of struggle, right? It's pretty easy to avoid the kill setups when it comes to like Side B back air, Side B up air, or can up air. Like, it's not the most difficult thing to avoid these, and again, you need to have time to set up your stuff, and again, people have gotten so fast and so good at avoiding specific areas in this game, it is insane. So I really think that Duck Hunt, again, good character, I just don't think actually that good. Also, struggles with a lot of Reflector characters, struggles with a lot of Rushdown characters, and struggles versus better zoners that aren't Samus. Definitely beats Samus. Beats Samus, beats Diddy Kong, which are two really good matchups to have good, but I feel like a lot of the other top tier just kind of shut down this character, especially sword characters. Like, again, I feel like one of the things that I meant to mention actually at the beginning of the tier list is it isn't necessarily, oh my god, this character can do such good things, therefore they're broken. Like, in my opinion, at this point, it has been 6 years since the game has come out, basically, and if people and characters aren't doing the super optimal broken stuff, then it doesn't matter, because, like, yeah, in theory, Link could infinite you forever. No one's doing that, and no one's going to do that. It's simply not going to happen, right? Like, it's never going to be consistent enough. So, like, at this point, I'm much more realistic about, like, oh, theory, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, because people have gotten so, like, there have been so many characters that have been pushed to their optimal theory. So if you aren't pushed to your optimal theory at this point, you're not going to get there. You're not going to get there, or you'll get there like in 6 months, and I'll be like, hey, I was wrong about this character, and that's basically how it goes. I mentioned that this is going to be the blue hair sword fighter tier, and this is another blue hair sword fighter if you choose the blue alt. We're going Robin. I think Robin, Leaf has been doing very well, right? Like, Leaf has been doing surprisingly well in Japan, has done quite well at a decent amount of tournaments since the last time I made a tier list, but I still think this character's pretty bad. I think that there are a lot of matchups that this character struggles with, but they do damage, they kill, they are annoying. There's a lot of good stuff with this character. I just think, again, basically every character above here has good stuff, and Robin loses your best tools somewhat frequently throughout a game, whether you don't have your Fireboker, you don't have your Thunderboker, you don't have Levin Sword, and so you basically every like 15 seconds are like, oh, I have to completely rethink my game plan, and that sucks. So I just don't think the character can be higher than that. It has some tricky movement though, has some good stuff, but nothing too insane. How is Sword Fighter this high? Sword Fighter's broken! And my Sword Fighter's broken. I mean, it's right now. Like, Mii Swordfighter is next. I think Mii Swordfighter is overall underrated. I do think that, surprisingly, this character is getting more rep. People are playing him more in Japan for some reason. Obviously, Mia plays this character kind of like has a tertiary behind Game & Watch and Steve. So, you know, how often is a Sword Fighter going to come out? I don't know. But there have been like more Sword Fighters. You have Luminato also playing Sword Fighter. I think this character is just underrated. I think he has pretty decent tools. The only issue with this character is sometimes he struggles to kill. And if you choose the killing up B, which is Hero Spin, then you have a worse recovery. But also his recovery is pretty good even with Hero Spin, because, you know, your Ike side B is going to be pretty good. Kani Nabe plays Sword Fighter. Really? I actually didn't know that. So that is honestly very impressive. I think Swordfighter, again, doesn't really have any like super bad matchups either. I would say the one actually bad matchup is Rob, but again, that might be different with the movesets, because again, you have the ability to counterpick movesets. You have the ability against certain characters to go Tornado, to go Shuriken, to go the side B projectile, what is it called? Chakram, thank you. I don't use it, to be fair. That's not the one I use. And again, he has like different good recoveries. He has good out of shield options. He has just like overall solid stuff. He has a good footstool out of shield down B if you're using the down B that is the hero, the thrust, which I feel like everyone uses this at this point. But if you need to use a counter on a projectile character, you play the counter, you play the reflect. Like, you have options, right? So he doesn't necessarily lose to a bunch of zoners. He doesn't necessarily lose to, you know, rush down. He's just overall solid. He just doesn't kill like better characters, and that's kind of it. And speaking of blue hair anime, we have Lucario, blue fern anime. That's close enough, right? But yeah, I think Lucario definitely is not a great character, especially so many people are getting good at just not giving up disadvantages, and they're ledge trapping forever, and they're killing super easy. So like overall, people are good, getting better at killing. But at the same time, Lucario has very few like actual flaws besides the fact that aura sucks. Like, he's mobile, he has good aerials, he has a good projectile. His projectile is also a kill confirm. He has a bunch of good stuff that I just feel like it's really hard to deal with as certain characters. Like, and again, if you think Lucario's better, hey, I have a losing matchup or even matchup versus character, so it is not biased. I hate this matchup. I personally hate this character. It is so annoying to deal with him, but I just don't think he's like super crazy. But at the same time, Gachipi's doing really well. In Japan, I feel like there's a couple of other Lucarios I'm forgetting about at the moment that can attend tournaments. But either way, I do think this character is overall underrated. I think Sue's been playing him more. I don't know how effectively, though, because I haven't seen Sue's name in tournament in a long time. But yeah, good movement, you know, and obviously if you don't get those kills, if you do get at a disadvantage, then Aura Lucario is one of the scariest characters in the game. He has a lot of awkward hurtbox shifting, forward smash, command grab. He has good stuff. He has really good stuff. It's just, how often can you play that optimal game? I don't know. Up next, we have a character that literally just won a, I think, B+ tier, question mark, or B tier. I've covered them on the channel before. We talking about Kirby and J-Jaw by extension. This character has been getting scarily good results. The combo game for this character is getting frightening. The disadvantage for this character is surprisingly not as bad as you would expect it to be. I still think you can edge guard this character, but also Kirby's going to edge guard people a little bit more than vice versa, at least in my opinion. I think this character is just kind of threatening. Crouch can be really annoying, has surprisingly decent matchups with a couple top tiers, and again, you can always copy stuff and make it awkward, and again, he also just kills hella early, right? Down tilt trip forward smash, you have back air, you have dash attack, you have two frames, you have down airs, you have back airs off stage, you have you know, dare ride in general, you have other smash attacks that kill. This character is threatening, but he's still slow and can get camped out, and so if a person is going to commit to just like, hey, I'm running from you, Kirby can't really do that much about it, which is the main and like only flaw of this character. Otherwise, he is a very solid kit, but low airspeed means he can get air camped and people can just jump from platform to platform against you. And also, I think the stages aren't great for him because he kind of has to auto-ban, Battlefield and small Battlefield, because his combos don't work sometimes, which means he has to play on like FD against like zoners, or, you know, PS2 versus zoners, or, you know, good characters that have swords against on like Hollow Bastion and stuff like that, so it can make it a little awkward. We are at the first character that I played for a week, and in my opinion, the worst one, which I was a little bit surprised at this. I thought that I would put him higher, but I was making the tier list and I did not know if I could have it. But yeah, Ridley is down here. I do think Ridley has some crazy, again, this is, I feel like, once we hit like, I feel like if you wanted to put like these characters in low tier, like up till Marth, that's basically what I did last time. I put like 10 characters down in low tier. That's fine. I think Ridley is like a very scary character. It has multiple top 8 at majors, or not multiple top 8, but top 8 recently at a major. This character is scary, has good edge guarding, has solid neutral, a little bit awkward hitbox, a little bit of awkward situations, good out of shield, good killing, kind of heavy but not great. I feel like the advantage and the read potential for this character is terrifying because he's so strong, and the reads, in my opinion, for this character are better than some other stuff, but at the same time, he crumbles to shield pressure that hits the back of his shield a little bit, and again, he's big, so he does get comboed quite hard, and he's not heavy enough to compensate for how much extra damage he's going to take from combos. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna take 80, but I live until 150. It's like, I'm gonna take 75 and die at 100 or 110. What's Banjo doing up there? Have y'all, dude, Toriguri What do you mean? This next character is probably hurt by my shifting priorities in the tier lists quite a bit because I don't care how theory good your character is. If your character's not doing it, it's not up to it. So we're talking about Lucas. Again, Lucas in theory, very good. Zera combos, footstool out of shield, Zera combos. This character has crazy damage, good frame data on shield, very terrifying. But at the same time, the people aren't doing it. And they do it very one-off, right? You had like the really good run by Nighthawks 2.5 years ago. And what's his face, the one from North Carolina, question mark, got like 13th at that Super Smash Con. Like the character has some good stuff, has some decent matchups, is really annoying for a good amount of the top tiers, but you just lose to more top tiers. Choco Taco. Like, and that's no disrespect to the players. I think the players of these characters are very good. It's just Lucas is so difficult to like squeeze out every bit of optimization from him. Again, his optimization is some of the hardest in the game, if not the hardest in the game. Like he's one of the hardest, if not the hardest character in the game, absolutely. But the thing is, even when he does his super optimal stuff, he's like high tier. So when you can't consistently rely on that, and then you're gonna like, the thing is, when you mess up a float from Peach, you're messing up a full hop, you're getting hit, but you have all your resources. When Lucas messes up his Zares, he doesn't have a double jump anymore, so then you hit him off stage, and then you hit the magnet that he's going to use to turn around to Zare to the ledge, and then you kill him. But also, Ledge Hop Zare Ledge Hop Zare is very good from ledge, and it's really hard to deal with, but I just don't think he's good enough. Again, I don't want to play the good Lucas players in tournament, but it's not up to my personal opinion. Well, it is technically up to my personal opinion, but like I don't view my tier lists strictly off of like this character does well versus me. Otherwise, Lucas is here and Lucario is here, but that's not how it goes. Going from the PSI kid to the electric kid, we're having Pichu go here. I think Pichu is having a bit of a resurgence, which is a bit odd, considering how frail the character is, but also he kills you. This character kills you. The skill potential of Pichu is terrifying. The edge guarding of this character, Thunder is a thing. There's so many different combo routes with this character. It's getting so intricate. Actually, like for some reason, there's just like a Labber Pichu, Aza, Indigo. I don't know what their tagger name is at this point. There's so many little things. Pichu's like low-key crazy, but then you play neutral against someone like a Mario and you literally can't do anything. But Pichu, again, we just saw Dryby at the throne. We've had Yone P do very well at a bunch of different tournaments. But it's just like, he's still frail, he's still squishy, and a lot of the times you see Pichus do well, it's because they got good matchups, right? I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, Dryby beat Mars and Shattuck. Those players are amazing, that's crazy, which like, that is true. But at the same time, Pichu wins those matchups, probably. Or at the very least is even, but there are so many matchups that's like, yeah, Pichu's gonna lose that. Like, Pichu's going to lose versus Steve and Mario and Game & Watch and Pac-Man and, you know, even characters down here, I think, like, Pichu a little bit struggles with, like, Kirby and Lucario, just because, like, they just dump out kill potential. Snake is super bad. There's so many, like, bad matchups for Pichu, and especially a lot of common bad matchups that are bad for Pichu, that it's hard for me to justify putting Pichu higher. But also, don't get hit. Be scared all the time. You gotta be scared. You have to play him like he's the scariest character in the planet, because he kind of is. But when you do that, he becomes, you know, you like declaw him, essentially. It sucks. Below Sephiroth, you actually got a spoiler of my tier list. Sephiroth is next. Sephiroth had Big Sword. I still think this character sucks. I still think this is a bad placement for him. I don't remember what it is relative to my old bad placement of him, but I do think Sephiroth is very mediocre, right? He has decent mobility. I mean, he's wing, right? If you don't have wing, this character kind of sucks. He has like very mediocre combos, meh damage output. Side B is only good against like very specific projectiles, unfortunately mine, right? It's good versus Pikachu T-Jolt and Pichu T-Jolt actually, but I think the character just has to posture in ways that is like so uncomfortable. Low-key Marth's better, like low-key Marth's better, but I don't want to move a character 10 spots on the tier list, and maybe I'll do it at the very end. But like, I think Sephiroth is just like Marth, which is bad, except then he has one Wing Angel, which is quite good because his mobility gets better and his combos get better and his like kill potential gets better and his damage output gets better. But like low key's kind of not great. Well, again, Wing is like up here, but when he doesn't have Wing, it's bad. So yeah, I made strict comparisons to a different character before this, and we are finishing this Animal Crossing comparison. We're going with Isabelle up here. Jab's crazy. Jab and up tilt are so good for this character, and I've realized how much better those are. Even though Villager can get triple turnips and have like technically better killing, Isabelle has consistent killing because you have jab into down smash, jab into up smash out of shield, which is better than Villager's in my opinion because it's faster, I believe. And if I'm wrong about that, then whoops, I'm not gonna double check it because I don't care that much. But yeah, jab and up tilt are crazy. It leads you to get more consistent combos. And up tilt up air just like leads to solid disadvantage. Isabelle's down B is more annoying to deal with than Villager Side B in my opinion, because Villager Side B has way more startup and it won't punish you, and also you're not going to die at 90 when you mess up getting hit by it because you won't get downbeat into up air. But yeah, jab and up tilt are literally just like so good for Isabelle, and like obviously you have a command grab, you have like annoying ledge trapping because of that, with like a downbeat, a cover roll, and then you side B, and it can be really annoying. So Isabelle, in my opinion, is a bit better than the last tier list. I'm pretty sure. I think that's like a 5 or 10 spot jump for her. So congrats to Isabelle. You know who also I think got a little bit of a boost is Mewtwo. I could be wrong about that. I don't remember my positions exactly because I don't consult my prior tier lists when making tier lists because that's not as fun. Kept going with Isabelle too. That's what I said earlier. So yeah, we got Mewtwo. This character, people loved when I played Mewtwo for that week. Those people really liked that. People are like, you play Mewtwo now? It's very, very funny to me. But I think Mewtwo, again, he just has some struggles. Because he's big, it's really awkward to position yourself correctly against a meta of everyone just swinging giant hitboxes, and Charge Shot is not enough to make up for it. Again, is tail hitbox that big of a deal? No, it's just the fact that he's tall. Right, like he's just tall and he doesn't have a way to get around that. And again, his dash speed is crazy. He has good inherent aerials, but I just feel like he doesn't do quite enough damage to justify his size. Right, it's kind of like similar to Ridley, where like Ridley doesn't get crazy good combos. You have like good reads. You have like footstool out of shield stuff with footstool down B or footstool shadow ball, but like you have to get very specific hits to get crazy damage with Mewtwo. Otherwise, you're getting like double up air fair. Unless you're getting like footstool shadow ball dash, footstool shadow ball dash, footstool down B, blah blah blah. You know, like that type of stuff. Which can be pretty difficult to do consistently, because that means you're like not shadow balling the same way in neutral. It means that you're not really like going for just generic damage of walling out. And again, Mewtwo's big, so when he gets hit, he takes a lot of damage. And in my opinion, doesn't have a good enough disadvantage to make up for it. I think his disadvantage was surprisingly bad from when I played him. I thought it would be better. Maybe I'm just bad with teleport. But I found I guess would get hit a lot trying to get a disadvantage, and again in a meta where people are just advantaging you for an entire stock, you can't have a bad disadvantage in this game, which is honestly why most of these characters are here, except for like Lucario. I was expecting Mewtwo to be where Ridley was. Well, Mewtwo has a projectile, which helps. Shadow Ball is very good, and you have a kill throw. Killing is not an issue for Mewtwo. This character kills super consistently with a couple things. Sometimes it can be hard to find those against the very mobile characters, but it's fine. The next two characters are Grab, Kill, Confirm the character. First off, we're going with the Hotness and Monkey Monday recipient award, DK. I think DK is definitely better than where he was before. You know, the DKs are just doing better. You have like the 5 different DKs in Japan doing well, and that's including the fact that Hikaru quit. And then you obviously have Chunky Kong in the United States, who's been doing quite well. I do think this character has a niche of doing good versus specific sword characters like Marth and Lucina, like not Aegis necessarily, not fast fallers, but at the same time, Chunky Kong could be Cosmos, so I don't know. I do think that DK has obviously flaws in the disadvantage, but again, it's kind of a skill check of like, hey, don't mess up, don't get hit by this downbeat, don't mess up your disadvantage. If not, I'm gonna be back in neutral and I'm gonna cheese you at 30. And like DK is definitely a cheesy mid tier for sure. Like that's the epitome of what he is as a character in terms of grab, up throw, up air. Sorry, grab, F throw, up air. Technically, or you know, trips into punch or tech chases into punch, but also it happens frequently enough that it's kind of fine. But again, DK has some like decent matchups in top tier, and again, it's pretty easy to cheese with this character. But like, again, it's cheese, right? You shouldn't be winning. If people just avoid the cheese, it becomes very, very difficult to get those type of things. So yeah, it's a little bit rough. Next up, again, more kill confirms. We have Inkling. I think that Inkling, again, not a great character, but has consistent killing on the matchups that up throw upper works. This character's neutral is very solid. Obviously, you have good damage output because of your, you know, ink mechanic. I think Splatter Shot is underrated. I think the disadvantage of this character is pretty good because you have B reversing Splatter Shot, and if you aren't, you know, close enough to make Splatter Shot not work, it's just a free landing. Shidayuki or Shiyaruki, I always forget which one it is. If it is Shidayuki or Shiyaruki, I think it's Shidayuki, has been doing absolutely fantastic. Probably the single best results of a character here based on like, this is the top player playing this character. Shidayuki like consistently gets like top 8 or 9th at majors. Like multiple times this season, this year in general, so I can't really justify putting him like lower. Like it's not, at one point I had Inkling here and I was like, you know, like Shidayuki does pretty well. So yeah, just a solid character. Again, not crazy. You're not gonna like cheese people with Inkling. You have to definitely beat people with Inkling like fairly consistently. But again, you have solid matchups in top tier. I feel like your matchup with Snake is fairly good. Your matchup with, you know, Joker and Bayo are probably pretty decent as well because you just get solid damage and you can like punish with Roller on a lot of their stuff. You know, Inkling Joker has always been kind of hard for Joker. So yeah, I mean, decent matchups in the top tier, not great matchups. Definitely going to lose to Steve and Game & Watch and stuff. But, you know, I feel like overall this character has the tools to win. You just have to make them work. Yoshida went to an event a bit ago. He just got 33rd. Like 33rd, 17th recently. But again, 7th at a major, literally in August. 9th at a B tier. Like, he's still at like 2nd at a major, 5th at an almost super major. Like, this character has the results, especially like overall this year, for sure. So it's hard for me to justify putting Inkling lower than this, simply because like the character's results are very good. Up next is a character that definitely doesn't have the results as of late, but it's really hard for me to justify Bowser being down here. So we got Bowser. The main thing that is better about Bowser than DK is out of shield options and 2 framing. The flame breath of this character is just good. Up out of shield is going to be fantastic. You have heavy armor on all your tilts, you have good anti-airs, you have solid damage overall, and then of course you have crazy killing. You have some of the best consistent 2 frames in the game with forward tilt and flame breath. You know, I do think that this character has dropped off overall. Definitely, you know, Bowser used to be in high tier, and now it's just like, hey, you're gonna get hit by a bunch of characters and die. Like, there's plenty of characters that just absolutely destroy Bowser, but those characters also destroy every other heavy character, so I don't find it to be that crazy that Bowser's here. I just think he has, like, he just needs less hits, I feel like, overall than to, like, so many other characters. It is honestly crazy. Like, kind of sucks. But also, sometimes all these characters kind of suck. Like, they all have flaws. And again, Bowser, similar to DK, is a check of just like, hey, did you mess up? Don't get shield broken. Don't mess up your down air. Hey, you're off stage. Hope you change your recoveries. Don't get F tilted in 65. Hello, like, you're going to lose. That's a 2 stock. And like, this kind of happens. And for the final character of mid-tier, we have quite the fall from grace. Unlike the games that he is from, we are going with Link. Tears of the Kingdom might have been fire, but this character is not. This character is, again, similar to what I said, you know, earlier in this video. If you aren't doing your optimal stuff at this point, you're not going to, and if people suddenly do, then hey, my bad, I was wrong. But it's been 6 years. How long can you deal with, oh, but you can just infinite people, you can just do all this crazy stuff. When no player is doing it. No player is doing well enough results-wise, no player is doing well enough, you know, tech-wise for me to just be like, wow, but if they like get a good bracket run, like, no. Link kind of sucks. He has an amazing moveset, right? Nair's really good, up tilt's really good, boomerang's really good, dash attack sucks. He has like solid moves, good aerials overall, has a bunch of really good stuff, but it doesn't matter if you're not doing the crazy good stuff. He's not a good enough character that you can just avoid that. Like, this isn't 2019. You can't just nair people and expect to win. When you get nair, grab, up tilt, you're done. You need more, and none of the Links get more, so it doesn't matter. Like, it's kind of like Mewtwo, where like he'll have good tools and stuff, but like it doesn't feel like a solid overall kit. So you just end up gearing towards like, I'm gonna use more bomb, and then you like aren't nairing enough, so people just like run at you and it's scary. Or you're like, I'm gonna do a bunch of bomb stuff, and then like you're not using your moves. I don't remember if I said the same thing twice, but whoops, I don't care. Link has better results in melee than ultimate. Yeah, that's crazy. And there's one guy using Link for one matchup, and it's still somehow better results. We actually thought Link's nair was so OP. To be fair, it is. It's like a top 5 nair in the game. It's just one move doesn't matter because it's also not like a combo move that combos into itself. Like, it's not Game & Watch nair, you know? And that's gonna be it for the mid-tier. As always, social media and partner stuff is down below. Let me know what you disagree with in the comments down below and who you expect to be the first character of the next tier. I would appreciate it, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.